Hey there everyone, Nakusoo here, bringing you something a little different. Today I'll be going through a game called MURI, which can be found on Steam, and it's a throwback to old DOS games, and I found this game a couple years ago and decided to give it a try. Long story short, I played it many times, and it's one of the first games that got me interested in speedrunning. This is going to be a warp any percent run, which means I will be using level skips in the game to get to the end as fast as possible, as that's the most simplistic route I went for in this game. Although I did try to 100% speedrun, and let's just say that's a bit more difficult, so that one is going to wait. This will also be a commentated speedrun, but there will also be a non-commentated version to look out for after this video is up to enjoy as well. Well then, I think this takes care of everything. Now, let's get started. One of the hardest things when playing through MURI and speedrunning in particular that I found is finding the specific movements in order to actually get through a stage. And some things that I realized is even if you mess up, it's really good to keep going on, because you'll probably find something else in the run that you can kind of shorten your time on and you're not entirely sure. Because definitely during this run, even though this is a personal best and it's a little bit a ways from the speed run record, which I believe is 6 minutes and 43 seconds, I'll correct myself if it's wrong. Trying to just fight these bosses, such as the first boss here, there are a few areas that I actually messed up on. You see you have the green, blue, and red. They each take different amount of hits, and the red takes the most, blue takes the second most, and green the least. I messed up a lot on trying to actually fire, and some of the bullets could have actually hit the green one. So some things in this game is RNG related. Most of the time it's pretty static of where the enemy placements will be, but coming up you'll actually see some areas that the enemies are a little bit random and it can be annoying. That's why I think when I'm doing speedruns, I kind of dislike playing games. This is just a personal preference. Games that rely on a little bit of RNG, or a lot of RNG in particular, I just kind of like a set pattern. But I can see how that can be pretty fun. This is another level that I'm not entirely sure if I should have stepped on the heads or if I should just like go straight. I tried it a few different times and it seems like avoiding the enemies is the best possible situation. There's like so much happening here, and this game is pretty short doing the warp run. As you can see, it took me 7 minutes and 12 seconds to actually complete through this. This is the fastest possible way to defeat this boss, as you're actually able to not even have to fight this boss at all, which saves so much time. And it's one of the things that I found online, and this helped a lot because I was like wondering, man, how are people getting such low times? And already we are halfway through the game. This is 3-1. As the stages go on, things get a little bit longer, and I ducked right there, which kind of took off a second right there. I think that was just an input error. This is like probably my 8th time during this recording session that I actually messed up on. You just have to be very careful, and in particular going through here, you really only want to take a few different shots, but there is health there. Going towards the upper path or that lower path, if you don't take hits, I believe it's like around the same amount of time. And right here you can actually do a nice skip of going through those platforms right there. And as we're coming towards the third boss, this is the boss, I would say this is the boss that relies the most on RNG, because once we get to the boss, you'll actually see what I'm talking about. I did have one run, which it wasn't even when I was recording, which is very unfortunate, where I killed this boss very quickly. But after that, I can't for the life of me get him down. And very likely you're going to actually die on this boss, which kind of sucks, because if I was able to kind of do what I did before and like kill off all of these clones, that would be amazing. you have a lot of these ghosts to actually deal with, and this is just something that somewhat relies on the RNG because their pattern, for the most part, I don't even think it's like a set pattern. I think it's just different to where you are. And well, I didn't do too bad on this particular one, which is really good. And I also didn't die here, which is very, very good for myself. But unfortunately, I still could have done it a little bit better. Trying to dodge these hits as quick as possible. I managed to take out this boss really fast, and I was really proud of myself for this run. This is like the fastest I ever completed this, besides that one time where I actually took out the boss. Now we're approaching on the last area of the game, 4-1. That is a very tricky jump to get towards because sometimes that robot does not follow the RNG and you might be screwed, which kind of sucks. Once you're going past this part right here, this is pretty simple as long as you make sure you take that invincibility. Those frames, you actually use it to your advantage. Sadly, we're stuck with the basic laser gun for this. If you actually do go past the whole game and manage to get all of these cells and collect them, you'll actually get a very, very powerful weapon. And unfortunately, you can't do that if you're trying to go for the warp 80% run, since that will lose you a lot of time. But here we are. The last boss of the game. This is a boss that gave me the most trouble, particularly when it gets to the second last phase. So right after this is pretty simple. All you have to do is stand on this platform. You can kneel. Can try and avoid those, which I could have done a lot better on. Once we get to the second phase, that's where the pattern, it's static. It's just myself not knowing. I used to know a little bit more, but I took a break from speedrunning, so I recently came back to MURI and actually tried to do it again. You can actually kill these orbs much quicker, but down here is like, I think where I lost probably 10 seconds or even more. So this is definitely like, if I had to practice on something only, like just one thing to practice on consistently, it would be this boss right here. As you can see, I'm almost dying. So at the same time, it's like, oh man, I'm dying so much. I am losing so much time and trying to kill these orbs, but I still keep going on. And during the last phase of this boss, it shoots these bullets down, and also you have to be careful of these like jelly creatures coming from the left. It only takes one shot with the laser and you can just stay on the platform. If you get past this is definitely it. And as you can see, this is one of the reasons why this is definitely a pretty easy game to start with in terms of speedrunning, and one I actually recommend. And that was the time right there. It was around 7:12, 7:13. And that was definitely one of the best runs I had. One of the most heart throbbing, because I know I was like, man, can I actually beat my time? Because before this, it was around 7:18. So I actually got a pretty good amount of time during that whole boss. So I was pretty satisfied with this run, although there are many instances where I can do better. That is going to be it though for this speedrun commentary. It was a lot of fun to do. I'll be back probably in a week or two, because I have some more videos to actually upload, some more games that I did speedruns of. But it was a lot of fun, and I really hope you enjoyed this commentary. It's one of the first commentaries I'm going to be doing for speedrunning, so it's kind of weird to kind of get used to what to really say, since so many things are happening so fast. You got to kind of wrap your head around it, but it was a lot of fun. Alright, well then, until next time, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then you can always subscribe to stay up to date with more content that I release during each week. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, take care.